Hi there, it's Melissa, and yes, I'm finally back with something a bit different than what I've been posting. This layout is for the Cut Shop, and it was on the blog yesterday, but by the time you see this video, it will probably be 2 days ago. And for this one, I used the uppercase alpha, and I wanted to focus on doing a large title, and so I decided to scrap these two little photos of Ava, and I thought they'd go really well with a large title, and I wanted to make the title the real focus of my page. So because um, time is precious for me, and so rather than place different papers behind this cut file, I decided to use my hip kit. It's my March hip kit, and I'm using the Page Evans Oh My Heart paper that has all the squares in it, and I thought it was the perfect paper for placing behind this title because it has the look of paper piecing, but it's actually not. So here I'm super speedily adhering it. I did think about liquid adhesive, but in the end I just went with double-sided tape. And originally I thought about stitching, hand stitching around the letters or machine stitching, but like I said, I don't have that much time, and so I needed to do it quickly, but using double-sided tape would have been a good way to allow for the stitching rather than gumming up the needle in the machine. So this is how I fill in the letters. I use the letter as a template, and that enables me to position the inner part exactly where I want it. So I've used liquid adhesive for that, and just showing you how I did the O and the A, and I won't show you how I do the other A. Now, I haven't been around much lately, and I have had some people ask where I've been, and I've been really, really busy. 4 children is not easy, and I started working when my maternity leave ran out. I'm a town planning consultant, and my clients waited for me, and so I was loving my business and my work right before I had Ava, and I had to give up a job that I loved, but amazingly, that client waited until I'd had Ava. They had to make some changes, but it all worked out that I could take that job back, and took some new ones as well. So that's what I've been doing. That's not easy either. I have to do it when Ava's sleeping and the other kids are at school, and I often have to do it in the evening and in the weekend, and yeah, it's all go. So that is why I haven't been making videos, because videos are time consuming. It's not the actual video, it's the editing and the voiceover, etc. But back to the layout. So I found that on their own, the leathers they didn't stand out enough for me. And like I said, I didn't have time to stitch at the moment. So I got my watercolours out, and all I've done is colour matched the colours of the paper with the corresponding colour of watercolour. And so where it's orange, I've done orange, where it's green, I've done green, so on and so forth. So here are my little photos of Ava, and they're really, really cute. They're of her with her blanket. And I just needed some paper to go behind them, otherwise they would have got lost. And so, like I said, I'm using my March hip kit, and I just pulled some of the papers that I thought would complement the colours in that Page Evans paper. I think the papers I'm using are crate paper, the Maggie Holmes ones, and I just need a peek of them from behind the photo. And so what I've done is layered them offset and adhered them with a staple, and then I've used my fingernail just to bend up the edges to give some dimension. And I thought about that orange, but it didn't really work too well, and then I've gone with this one as a Dear Lizzie, but I think all the rest are crepe paper. So I really didn't want to use this one because I love the back with the text paper, but I did manage to use the rest of that text paper on another layout. So keep an eye out for a layout share that I'll have coming up for that one. So here, bending up the layers, and then I'm going to use some fun foam or craft foam just behind my photos to lift them up and provide even more dimension. So like always, I'm using double-sided tape to adhere that craft foam. I find that's the best way to get it to stick. And I'm just going to show you how I do this photo. There's no point me showing you the other one because it's pretty easy and just the same process. So I was inspired by Missy Whiddon and Paige Evans in the making of this layout. Missy's been doing some amazing layouts with big titles, and I love how Paige uses small photos, and I just love her balance of embellishment and how she really focuses on colour, and Missy also really focuses on colour, and I love that both of them aren't afraid to go bold. So I've just placed my photos here. Now this Chamel Little by Little sticker sheet came in the hip kit, and I love that little bear, and so I'm just wanting to pop him up with some foam behind him so he's not flat, because I'm very aware that with the title as the main feature, it is a flat, large flat element of this page, so I need something to pop up and give some dimension. And I'm using little tree as well. Now, I'll be honest, I am struggling with using that sticker sheet. It's not that I don't like it, I love it. I don't know, it's just the layouts that I'm making, I'm not using as much of it as I want to. So, because I think I'm 3/4 through this kit now, and I've got April and May sitting there, and no doubt June will be on its way, I really need to get going with my scrapbooking. So, like I said, I haven't been making many videos, but I have still been creating. I just have to do it in the evening or little bits here and there. And I do love scrapbooking so much. It is a release for me. But when my works all go, that's where my focus has to be. So I did consider stopping making process videos altogether, which would mean not continuing with some of my commitments, but I do love it, and so I do have to make some time for it within reason. So I hope that explains where I've been. So here I'm using my Pink Fresh, they're like a pleather or fake leather stickers, and they've got texture on them, and I've put one down on each photo, but I will come back and add a second one. These are the ephemera pieces from the Oh My Heart collection, and I'm struggling to use them as well, not because they're not gorgeous, because they are, just some of the icons. I think I need to look through my photos and maybe be a bit more intentional in what photos I'm scrapbooking. So the florals are just stunning, and I've pulled them all here, the ones that I've got left, and I'm wanting to add one to each photo. So that little cluster is what ends up on the left photo. And I did love that daisy, but it looked like it was growing from Ava's head. So I've gone with this pink. And then I'm just checking with that cluster of flowers, but it didn't look right to me. So I've gone back to that single pink flower. And I think soon I will bend up the edges of those as well. So now for my journaling, the perfect place for it was underneath her name. And I'm just talking about how she loves blankets, but in retrospect, in hindsight, I wish that I had put more about why this layout is called Oh Ava, but I'm sure I can journal about that on another page for her. So I'm nearly finished now, and that's when I realised I wanted to add another triangle. I did think about adding 3, but I think it would have been a bit too much. And so I'm really happy with how this is looking. I think I've added some just little foam pads behind the flowers just to lift them up, and adding some enamel dots, 3 on each one. Often I'll just do 2, but with this one I felt it needed 3. And then it really needs a border, so I pulled out the pink and yellow cardstock from the cardstock kit, and I decided to go with yellow. And rather than have it as a border all the way around, I've done just a border on the top and the left. I've machine stitched around the edge, and now I'm just bending up the edge for extra interest and dimension. And that is my final layout. Head on over to the Cut Shop blog or my blog, and you can see more details of this layout. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm really hoping to be back again with you soon with more process videos. Take care.